Unmasking the narcissist bedroom persona. You may think of that narcissist as the most confident person you have ever met in the bedroom. They walk around like they are sex master. They act like masters of intimacy, untouchable and completely dominant. But what if I told you that behind all of that intensity, behind all that performance, they're actually trembling with fear? And listen, I know what you're thinking. As a survivor, you probably do not believe what I said. You're asking, how can a narcissist have sexual fear when they were so good in bed? At least in the beginning. Because for you, the bedroom was likely the only place that relationship ever felt real. It was the only time the cruelty stopped. It was the only time the distance vanished. You probably thought, at least here they love me. At least here we are connected. But that is exactly why they are so terrified. You see that intensity you felt? That was not passion, but panic. They know very well that sex is the only thing blinding you from the truth of who they really are. They're not making love to connect with you. No, they are performing to keep you from looking too closely at them. Because they know that if the performance stops even for a second, you will look into their eyes and realize that nobody is home. They're not afraid of losing you. They're afraid that one day, mid-act, you will finally see that the God holding you is just an empty shell. I'm Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 sexual fears narcissists pray you never discover. Number 5 is very interesting. Stay until the very end. Number 1, fear of not making you think you have had the best sex ever. The only time you ever feel a real connection with a narcissist is during sex, especially when you're trauma bonded. Every other moment of the relationship is filled with distance, manipulation, and emotional coldness. So intimacy becomes the one space where the abuse is temporarily hidden. That is why sex is so important for a narcissist. It becomes the glue of the trauma bond. They make it intense, consuming, addictive. So even when they are giving you less than the bare minimum outside the bedroom, you stay hooked to the illusion of closeness they create inside it. But here's the part they will never say out loud. Performing well terrifies them. How? Because for them, sex is not loving. As I said, it's performing. It is their proof of superiority, desirability, durability, and power. If they can't satisfy you, their entire identity cracks. During intimacy, they're not connecting with you, are they? They're studying your breath, reactions, subtle movements, expressions, and hoping you will confirm the fantasy they built around themselves. Sex is not intimacy for them. It's evidence. What evidence? Evidence that they still own your attention, that they can make you feel a way nobody else can. It's like they are getting physical with their own ego, their shadow. You just act like an extension, a confirmation for a psychological construct that is purely delusional. Talking about delusions a bit, a narcissist relies on sexual intensity the way a magician relies on smoke. As long as you are overwhelmed by the closeness of that moment, you won't question why the rest of the relationship feels so painfully empty. They know that if they can make you feel chosen in the bedroom, you will tolerate feeling invisible everywhere else. So the pressure on them is not just to impress you. It is to maintain the illusion that this fragile, hollow man is so powerful, desirable, and unforgettable. That's why they panic when they sense you did not melt the way they expected, or when your body does not react the way they rehearsed in their mind. Your lack of awe is a threat. Your neutrality is an insult. Because if sex stops being their strongest weapon, the entire shell breaks. Number 2, a narcissist's deepest sexual fear is that one day you will finally see how robotic sex with them actually is, as if a machine is performing instead of a human being. They know there is no soul in it, no emotional presence or warmth. It's purely mechanical. It's rehearsed and predictable. A sequence of movements that are predicted, and it's like they're rubbing their body against yours, and that's it. If you have paid attention, you already know what I'm talking about. You felt it, that strange emptiness, that moment that you are there, but they're not. Their body moving while their soul is somewhere else. Survivors tell me all the time, it felt like he was performing. She was just acting, not connecting. And they're right. A narcissist treats sex like a routine they have memorized, not an emotion or an experience they are feeling. They are not trying to feel you. They're trying to impress you. And deep down, they panic that you will see through the performance. They know that touch has no warmth, their kiss has no intention, and their eyes have no real desire. They overcompensate with intensity because they know they cannot offer intimacy. And the fear goes even deeper than that. They're terrified you will realize that the connection you feel during sex is not coming from them at all. It is coming from you. That's the crazy part. Your empathy, imagination, reverse projection, projecting your good qualities on them, assuming they think the way you think. But that's never true. You project your warmth onto the cold act and call it intimacy because you're wired to feel it deeply. They simply stand or lay there and take credit for what your emotional system does or what it is generating. If you look closely, you will notice something most survivors only understand years later. A narcissist never lets the moment slow down. They keep everything fast, intense, dramatic. Why? Because slowness exposes them. I'm talking about rhythm, like real slow. It asks for patience. That's why it's always quick. Eye contact asks for honesty. A pause asks for emotional connection. And they do not know how to give any of that. Did you resonate with what I just said? Has this been your experience? Let me know in the comments below. Number 3, fear that you will notice they feel nothing for you, even in the most intimate moment. There is one truth a narcissist hopes you never discover. Even at the peak of intimacy, they feel absolutely nothing for you. Narcissists do not feel even a drop of love for you, not even in the moments that should feel the closest. Their arms may be around you, but nothing inside them moves. You feel their body, but you do not feel them, do you? When someone genuinely loves you, their whole body softens when they hold you. You can feel it. Their breathing slows, shoulders drop, and their energy wraps around you. A narcissist cannot do that. Their hug is stiff, rushed, or overly intense, but it never lands emotionally. It never reaches you where it should. Because they are not hugging you to feel close. They are hugging you because they know you need it. And they don't want you to notice the hollowness between you. They use physical closeness to cover emotional distance. They use your need for affection to hide their inability to give any. Another fear they have is that you will realize the desire you thought they had for you was never real to begin with. A narcissist knows that if you ever slow down and watch them closely, you will see the truth they have been hiding since day one, that they don't feel desire. They copy yours. Everything they do in the bedroom is a reaction, not a feeling. If you get excited, they suddenly become excited too. If you get emotional, they switch into emotional mode, don't they? If you show passion, what do? They follow a few seconds later so it looks like you are in sync. But you're not in sync at all. You are leading, and they are imitating. Number 4, fear that their hypersexuality will expose their real sexuality. Some narcissistic men are hypersexual for one simple reason. They're hiding who they are actually attracted to. They're not sleeping with multiple women because they are high drive or alpha, as they would like to call themselves. They are doing it because they're scared someone will notice they're not into women the way they pretend to be. Hypersexuality, if not always, in this case, becomes a cover story. They use it to look straight, normal, masculine, and whatever image they're trying to protect. They flirt with everyone, brag nonstop, chase women aggressively, and turn every conversation sexual just to convince you and others that they are something they actually are not. It is them proving a point. They do not even believe themselves. And the fear behind all of that is that one day someone will see the pattern and realize the truth. The louder they act, the more they are hiding. Their entire sexual behavior is not about desire. It's about covering up what they do not want society, their partner, or even themselves to face. Another fear they carry is that you will notice how disconnected they actually are during sex. That they are not turned on by women emotionally, mentally, or energetically. They use women as props to maintain an identity, not because they genuinely feel attraction. That's why their intensity feels forced, their touch feels empty, and their presence disappears the second the act is over. They're performing a role they think a normal man, a high sexual man should play, and they're terrified you will catch the emptiness behind it. Their desire is not rooted in attraction, but in protecting an image. And once you see that, everything they have built around their masculinity, sexuality, and confidence falls apart instantly. Number 5, fear that you will realize every STD and sexual health problem you have ever faced came from them. A narcissist lives with this silent fear that one day you will finally connect the dots and see what they have been hoping you never question. That you were fine before them and everything started after them. They know how reckless they are. They know how many people they sleep with behind your back. They know they do not use protection, do not get tested, do not care about consequences, and do not respect the risks they drag into your life. And deep down, they know if you ever stop blaming stress or bad luck and actually look at the timeline, you will realize the truth. Every scare, every infection, an uncomfortable doctor visit, every moment of panic was because of them. They are terrified of that moment because it exposes something they cannot survive. That they were not just emotionally unsafe, they were physically unsafe as well. That they did not just break your trust, they played with your health like it meant nothing. They know once you see this, the whole fantasy dies. The passion, the chemistry, the connection, none of it survives the reality that they put your body at risk without a single thought about what it would do to you. Another fear they carry is that you will eventually realize they knew something was wrong with their sexual health long before you did, and they stayed silent intentionally. They notice symptoms, notice discomfort, notice changes in their body, in your body. They know when something feels off, and instead of getting tested or being honest, what do? They hide it, hoping it disappears on its own, but it does not. Isn't that physical abuse? That is a crime, and you can get arrested for this. I hope it's implemented worldwide, but this is not okay. Most of these cheaters who spread STDs around happen to be narcissists. I cannot believe that there is no correlation or crossover. Definitely, if somebody is withholding their sexual history and not telling you what they're up to sexually, definitely there is an element of narcissism present. Something from the doctor, right? Because they're exploitative. They take sadistic pleasure from harming you. Why would I live in it alone? I have to spread it around. I have to make you feel the consequences and then feel in power that I gave you the disease I myself cannot recover from. How callous is that? That's why I say these folks are evil, because they know what they are doing out there. Whether it's conscious, unconscious, or purely driven by their internalized rage does not matter. Outcome remains the same. And as long as that is the case, they can be and should be held liable for their actions. With that note, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, As always, let the healing begin.